This is the compost toilet installed at Bridget's farm in the camping field. So I'll explain to you how they work. We've got a solar panel outside which is connected through to a charge controller here and a battery. And the battery obviously stores the power so that when the sun isn't shining, everything works here. And that's connected through the wires into here. And what that's powering is a small fan in the back. And the idea of the fan is to draw air through the front of the toilet, over the bucket of solids, and then take any smells out through this vent pipe which goes out the back. The toilet itself, if I lift the lid, what you might be able to see here is there's actually a concealing flap, so when you lift the lid you can't see down into anything that might be in the toilet, so that's all completely covered up. And it's only when you actually sit on the toilet does that flap open to reveal the contents inside. This is what's called a separating toilet, so men and women must sit on this toilet, and when you sit down anatomically, urine will go to the front and then faeces will go to the back, and it's the faeces which go in the bucket, and the urine just goes around the toilet out the back, and that runs into a soakaway which is just on the other side of this shed here. And soakaway is just a pit that we've dug about 75 centimetre cubed, which has got gravel inside, and that will just slowly allow the urine to permeate out into the ground. Urine isn't a pollutant or a hazard to the ground. The toilet itself, just to show you some of the insides, if we lift it up here, it's only a bit of toilet paper inside, you don't need to worry, and it's cocoa shells at the bottom which are just an absorbent material. So this is, in here we've got a bucket which has got a compostable liner inside, and we've put cocoa shells in the bottom, which we could also use sawdust, something like that. It's just an absorbent material in case any liquid gets in there. If one person was using this toilet exclusively, that bucket would last 6 to 8 weeks, which people are quite surprised about. But because you're separating urine and faeces, it does last a long time. And just here is the fan which is drawing the air over the top of the toilet. And the fan does two things. One is it will take away any residual smells which are in there, but it will also create a bit of low pressure in the bucket so that any moisture in the faeces is wicked out and taken away. And the drier the contents are, the less chance of smells there are. When the bucket is full, it's actually put onto a compost heap, and it's a specific compost heap just for sort of human waste. And when you empty it on there, it won't look like what came out of your bottom. It's quite different actually, because it's dry and it's started to desiccate, and that's allowed to compost for about a year, and then you end up with fantastic compost. The other thing we've done in the shed, which is useful obviously in the dark, is we wired in a light with a remote sensor. So just up here is something which I called it a motion sensor, but somebody thought it was quite funny. It's basically a movement sensor, so as you walk into the shed, this will detect you and turn on the LED light, which is just up here. And then as you walk out, the light will switch itself off, so you don't need to worry about switching the light off afterwards and draining the battery. So here's the solar panel outside the shed. It will eventually be put on top of the shed once we've got the brackets. This is a 50-watt panel. To run the fan in the toilet and the light, you'd probably be okay to get away with a 30 or a 40-watt panel. That would see you for most of the time. We've specified it with a 50-watt panel so that we've got a lot of extra electricity in the winter in case the days are long or the weather's pretty bad. So this is generating 50 watts of electricity, which is fed round and into the charge controller and ultimately into the battery, powering the fan, which is on 24/7, and also giving people the light as well. In terms of costs, a toilet such as this, you're looking at around about £650 for the unit with the installation kit which comes with the pipes and so on and so forth. The rest of the bits and pieces, the solar panel varies depending on the capacity of the panel. 50-watt panel tends to be around about £125, £130, something like that. The charge controller is about £15 and a battery is about £70 or £80 for one like that. The movement sensor again is about £15, and the light's about sort of £15 for a good quality LED light. So I haven't added all that up, but you're probably talking about sort of £800 to £900, something like that, for a complete setup, and then you can put that in a shed or whatever building you've got.
If you had it in a house,
yeah,
you wouldn't need. You could run that off the mains, the fan and everything. Couldn't?
Yes, this particular model can be 12 volt or mains.
Yeah.
They also do one which is just for mains use as well. So it's perfectly feasible to put these in houses, and they work well in canal boats as well, barges. You know, on grid or off grid dwellings. If you've got a hut somewhere, they're absolutely ideal. Yeah. So this is the compost loo in Bridget's shed at Bumblebee Farm. All installed and working, and yeah, it's going to be a great addition to the farm.